Here follows an extract from my book Artful Designs, available from Amazon. Chapter 6, Part 2. The croquet crown has been part of the WI calendar for many years, so, as the Mossleigh WI president, it falls to me to stand here. I'm afraid that the credit isn't mine at all, however, as the whole of Mossleigh WI are intrinsically involved in the preparation and planning. No doubt, in time-honoured WI tradition, everything will run smoothly, I'm sure. There'll be tea and cakes aplenty, as we'll get lots of visitors to the village for the flower festival, and we hope that they'll linger by the green and enjoy the game and some refreshments. The game is open to members and non-members alike. There are a few slots available for any last-minute competitors. Does anybody have any names to add? Said May. Theo and Sally have expressed an interest. I can't think that they've changed their minds, so if you can squeeze them in, they'll be thrilled, I'm sure, said Drew. Darcy will be acting as referee, so we can be sure of fair play, but do remember that it's purely for fun, so don't let's get too serious, said May. It's bound to be serious if Darcy is involved. She terrifies me, said Henrietta. May laughed. Oh, don't be alarmed. She's really lovely. It's just her no-nonsense, brusque American manner that takes a bit of getting used to. It comes in quite handy when she's judging cake competitions or overseeing how many cheques need countersigning. She's an amazing WI treasurer. What happens about the croquet competition if it rains? Asked Emma. Emma was Beth and Drew's daughter, and she was currently enjoying a night out after leaving Primrose and her husband Nathan together for the evening. She and Henrietta had struck up a friendship soon after Henrietta had moved to Mossleigh. Henrietta's son, Toby, was of a similar age to Primrose, which was a good place for the friendship to begin. Since then, Hetty had joined the WI, and her ongoing friendly understanding with Sergeant Robert Maddox meant that Toby was now being cared for by Bobby's mum for the evening. Henrietta knew that it would be difficult to tell which of the two would have had the best time. She'd hear all about it from Toby in the morning, but no doubt pastry and baking would be involved somewhere. The smile on Mrs. Maddox's face reassured her that babysitting really wasn't an imposition. Mrs. Maddox had been a widow for many years and had time and love to spare. It was a joy for Hetty and Toby to get a share of it. Life hadn't been particularly joyful for Hetty until recently. We'll keep playing, answered May. I know it's pleasant in the sunshine, but in years gone by we've played wearing wellies with a few trusty assistants following us around with brollies. It was quite fun, actually. If you live in Britain, you have to be prepared to enjoy yourself whatever the weather. Even if we tried to reschedule, there'd be no guarantee of the weather for the next time, and the ground would just get muddier. So long as we keep the cakes and sandwiches dry and there's a hot cup of tea available, we'll be fine. More surreptitious toasting affirmed the sentiment, and the official meeting broke up. Very few of the committee were ready to leave, which was due in part to the small but sumptuous buffet that Edward Gibson, chef in residence and son of the landlord, presented with his compliments to the floral committee. Further explanation could readily be found in the lure of the fine ales made available by Edward's father, Arthur. Emma and Henrietta settled into comfortable conversation. Mum tells me that Bobby might be working with Uncle Benji again, said Emma. He is, and he is so thrilled. They got it all sorted earlier this week and are going to the gallery tomorrow to talk to the curator and his assistant. Bobby thinks he's hit the big time now. The way he talks, you think he'll be going up against the mafia, said Hetty. I think it might be worse than that. He's got my dad as a suspect, said Emma. Surely not. Bobby won't like that, said Hetty. My dad is as likely as anybody else, or at least as far as the eyes of the law are concerned. They can't leave him out of the investigation, so he'll have to get used to the idea. They turned to speak to Drew on the matter to find that he was embroiled in a debate on the merits and defects of garden croquet as opposed to association croquet. Deciding that now was a good time to leave, Henrietta said her goodbyes. I think I'd better get back so that Mrs. Maddox can go home. She said that I needn't rush, but it's late enough. I'll walk with you, said Emma. Nat is supposed to be at the dairy first thing, so he'll have gone to bed early. I'd like to see him off, so I'd better get some sleep too. Beth hugged the girls and said goodbye, but Drew was still arguing the merits of garden croquet. The girls left utterly assured that it was the only sensible option. The alternative association croquet taking a ridiculous amount of time and accounting for a considerable amount of tomfoolery into the bargain. For the full book of Artful Designs, available in paperback or as an ebook, follow the link in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.